Hi, and welcome to what may be your first online class for MACA. My name is Brian Sorial, and you guys have just watched, hopefully you just watched my portfolio movie, so you kind of get a little idea of who I am. But I want to go to this Macomb webpage right away to show you a couple of things, and I'm going to handle this movie as a going over of the first day handout and syllabus, which has the assignments. Then I'm going to open your class in Canvas. I'll show you how to get to that, and how to find the assignments and how to submit the assignments. But I want to handle this a little informally, and after I do all that, for people who've never been in Photoshop, I'm going to give you a little run through of the difference between Photoshop and then programs like Illustrator and InDesign, which are based on vector. Photoshop is based on raster, and I'll explain those two concepts in a little bit. But here's the Macomb webpage, okay? I want you all to just get excited for this semester. I know we've been through a lot. I know that this last year hasn't been easy for any of us. But let's just use this as a building of our creative flow. And that's what I'm all about, is the creative flow. But let's get right into it, okay? So this is the Macomb page. You all know it pretty much. And I'm going to click on My Macomb. And I'm going to go right to the class and show you a number to call if you cannot get your class up and running for this Monday morning, okay? So in the Macomb My Macomb page, you can scroll down to where it says Canvas over here in this Campus Applications. So let's click on Canvas, which is the third one down. And that lets you into what's called your dashboard. And your dashboard here is just a way that you can navigate to your class. Or by clicking this button here, you can actually navigate to your class. Now, it should show up at the top of this list. I have a lot of other classes there, but your class is right there, MACA 1320 V1602 Winter. And in a few minutes, or at some point, I'm going to go into the inbox and show you how to send me an email through Canvas. But let's click on your class, okay? So I'm going to go back to something in a second. So now I'm in your class. This is what's called the home page. And if by any reason some link doesn't work, or if I haven't linked something correctly, or if I have information from a semester previous, just send me an email and let me know and I'll fix it, okay? That's why I do my best to get every piece of information in here right, but there's always a chance that I'll miss something. Okay, so now that I'm in your class, I want to first, I'm not going to explore it for a second. What I am going to do is I'm going to go to click on the first day handout, which is right here. It says, please download, I'm going to highlight it, please download the complete MACA 1320 syllabus. Now, I've already sent you this probably in the weekend before the semester starts, so you probably have gone through it, and I'll recommend that you do go through it, because I am going to send an email out to you directly after this class. But I'm going to click on that, and what's going to happen is it's going to download right to my desktop. Okay, it's an automatic download. Now, I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to bring over my Acrobat, my PDF reader file. It's actually the full version of Acrobat. And it's your first day handout and your syllabus. So I'm going to go to the next page where I want you to read what the class is all about. Just go over it, okay? And let's go to this page, and I'm going to enlarge it so you can see a couple of things. It is optional. I'm not going to go through everything in here. You can fully read everything, okay? But it's optional that you can get the e-textbook from Adobe, which should be available soon. And this link right there is live. It'll take you to that class, but I'm going to, it'll take you to that linked URL if it ever comes on the screen here. Hopefully I didn't lose my Wi-Fi. Which that's taking a bit long. But anyway, so This is the actual Adobe Press, where you can get, when it's ready, you can see here that Adobe Photoshop Classroom in a Book release is available now. Oh, okay, so you can get it if you want. Okay, I don't require it because Google is an amazing way. Let me bring back the first day handout. So Google is an amazing way if you have a problem and I can't be there to answer your problem, although you can send me an email, which I will return pretty much right away, within a day, within an hour, whatever. I'm very much on top of that. But if you can't get an answer to a question, try just Googling it, okay, rather than trying to find it in a book. But read everything here. I would like you to have 30 gigabytes of space, but you will never use that in this class. But building content takes a lot. Okay, preferably the software, which is what that is right there, is Adobe Photoshop 2021. It's the Creative Cloud version of 2021, which, by the way, I have a link right here, which most of you probably already have the Creative Cloud, but I'm going to click it anyway, and you can see here is the student version for $19.99 a month that you can get the Adobe Creative Cloud. But what I really want to use this for is, I'm going to tell you right now that some of these may change right there, but I'm also sending you links to, actually this is the movie you're watching right now. Movie 3 is what you're watching right now. And you've already seen the portfolio movie, and if you want to, go review my motivation and methods, which I did about a semester and a half ago. And it's really important. It gets you to know a lot of different things about the MACA program and about me and about your future. So what I did in this first day homepage, okay, which is the homepage for your class, is I gave you a listing of week to week. Now this listing right there is also in your first day handout. So if I go down here, you can see in the first day handout, it's the same list right there. It just tells you which week is which week, all right? And these are the important dates of the semester. So your first day of class all the way to the spring break, the holiday recess, last day to withdraw from the class if you have to, I hope you don't, and when the semester ends. It has a course description, and then it goes through all of this material here that I want you to read and go over, but we're going to go right to the page so this movie doesn't end up being too long. We're going to go right to the assignments page. If you have an emergency for any reason, I give you my cell number, but I even bolded here, please do not call my cell unless I direct you to do so. I'm directing you to do so if you have an emergency, okay? Otherwise, just email me, contact me through email, and I'll get right back with you, okay? So I'm going to go pass all of this stuff up that is required by the college for us to let you know certain links into the college student services, and I'm going to go here. So your assignments are here, okay? Web page assets all the way down to the tear sheet, including discussion boards and the mid-semester survey and the final semester survey, okay? I spelled it wrong, mid-ester. That's a new word. That's interesting. I made a new word, mid-ester. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to leave it like that because I don't know why. But I am. Yes, I'm an artist. I can spell too, okay? I just never saw that I got rid of something there. Anyway, I break down the fact that there's 87 points in the regular semester, not including the extra credit, which brings you to 100. I don't require 100. I just require, hopefully, you can get to 87, okay? And then this breaks down what is an A all the way to the lower grades, okay? So let's go here, and this is important, the late assignment. I'll take a point off a day if you don't ever communicate with me. If you do communicate with me, and I think I've already said this in my other movie, but if I haven't, I just want you to know that I take family, work, and health a lot more important than this class. So if you have a work issue, that comes before the class, okay? If you have whoops, I don't know what that, oh, it went to macomb.edu. I think I have no idea what that just did. Anyway, I'm going to close that, and we're going to go back to this. Oh, because I clicked on sorry will be at macomb.edu. Wow, I must have thought I wanted to send me an email. Anyway, please remember that I am really focused on skill building and great content for your portfolio. Okay, not grades. I care about you building great portfolio content, because that's the only thing that's going to get you a job. Please just email me and no points will be deducted. Okay, so let's go down here, and what I've given you is a week by week breakdown of all the assignments. Okay, so you can go through that and you can read it, but I've also given you at this point down here a very quick, it's like my quick look to the assignments. What is due for week 1? What do you have to, no reading, but what do you have to review? And I handle this class with tutorial movies. And the reason why I don't have a lot of PDF files, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes, is because I don't believe in them. I believe that if you do step 1 through step 10 in a PDF file, and you get to step 10, you won't remember what you did from step 1 through 8 or 9. So by watching my movies over and over again, and you'll get totally used to doing that, and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about with web page assets, with the very first assignment here. Just get used to stopping and starting. Okay, so do a step, pause a step, do a step, pause that step, do a step. You know what I'm saying. So every time you watch something or rewatch something, just pause the movie and then you do it. Or take notes as I'm doing it, but don't try to take notes for everything. Just do a step at a time. Okay? So this goes all the way through week 16. And that's the end of your first day handout. Okay? Which you can always use. And I even put the week breakdown here of from January 11th to May 8th, which is the last day of school. So I'm going to minimize that. And then I want to show you something based on, just a minute, based on these assignments, and I'll announce these because I want you to see them from what the students do. So I'm going to bring over this window right here, and I'm going to go back a second here, and I'm going to go to this lesson examples right there, and I'm going to click on this first one right there. So actually I'm going to go into I'm going to bring up this page right here, and that is actually, this is actually your first web page assets thing that you have to do for me. And let me expand the screen here so you can see the whole thing. Okay, so there is what you turn into me. It's not exactly a web page that you have to create for me, but there are 3 movies. Movie 1 is all you have to watch for this, and I'll show you in a quick PDF read what I'm talking about. But movie 2 and 3 is our extra credit for this first assignment. It actually makes this be a clickable item. So I can actually click that and go right to my next one. Now let me open that up in a web browser so you can see it. Look at how when I click to this, I actually show you how to go into Dreamweaver. Don't panic with this. And actually make links that go back and forth. So within the first week or 2, you can learn quite a bit. And hopefully I'm really good at showing you step by step from the very beginning. And because I'm going to show you Photoshop at the end of this, you're going to see pretty much how, and I don't want to say the word easy, but Photoshop is not super complicated to just get into it. And I'm hopefully going to make it reasonable. Okay, so let me minimize the browser or just put it on my other screen for a sec, and then I want to show you that assignment number 2 is this one. Now, you're going to actually start with this, and you're actually going to turn it into this, okay, which has a darker background. And I didn't finish coloring these teeth over here just to show you the difference. You are going to color these teeth right there, and I'm not going to enlarge it because I'm just in a preview right now, but just imagine that went all the way across. So you're taking this original photo right here, you're getting rid of all the pores and all the shiny spots, and you're turning it into that, okay, and you can see the difference. And I'm giving you 2 weeks on that, although I don't think you're going to need it. Okay, so let's go to the next assignment. The next assignment is where you're going to take a product like this, cut it out, recolor it in Photoshop, and then put it into a background so it looks real. Okay, and you're going to use a background that has stuff in it, and you're going to learn how to remove that stuff very quickly. And this can be a portfolio piece for you. So that's the second one. It's called image manipulation. The next one is called 3D. Okay, so this one you're going to take a picture of a brick wall, you're going to take some graffiti, and you're going to place it on the wall, and you're going to actually make the mortar look like you can see through the graffiti into the mortar. So it looks like that was actually painted on the brick wall. It's not hard, you just have to follow it step by step. In the movies, okay? And I don't want you to panic if you mess up the first time. There is nothing wrong with doing a project over again. Most of the time you end up doing a much better job the second time and in half the time, okay? If you follow what I just said. The next one is, let me see if I have that in order. The next one is you take a picture. I should have had the Will Smith regular picture. So there's Will Smith just from a Google search. What I did was I turned him into this, and then I put him into a Men in Black background. Okay, so that's another composite piece that you're going to do, and you're going to learn some fun stuff with that. I want you to have fun with this stuff, okay? Don't panic. So I used a background, I used Will Smith's image, and I created the composite. So the next assignment is actually, let me go, you're going to paint an apple. Now that's the real picture of an apple. All right, with the texture, that's the picture that I did. Okay, and I'm going to show you later on what some students have done. Okay, at the end of this, I'll show you a quick student portfolio. So the next one, you take an iPhone that you find and you actually paint it from the white paper, the white canvas, the white artboard that you start with in Photoshop, and you paint it just like this. And it's a really fun way to learn how to paint. A lot of you have always wanted to learn how to paint in Photoshop. Now I give you the chance. And there's the picture you start with. Okay, then you can turn it into that. And I take flat backgrounds. You can see how I just throw them on the screen like this to make them look real. I won't even start talking about technique here. But then you do a movie poster. And this is my movie poster. Okay, it's a bunch of composite pieces that you learn how to put it all together, and you create the poster. So the extra credit assignment is this one. So you can create a cartoon character and bring it to life. Now, during that week, if you need to catch up on old assignments, you don't have to do this one. It isn't part of the 87 points. Okay, this is the extra credit assignment, and then you put together a tear sheet. What's a tear sheet? A tear sheet is an example of all the projects that you did this semester, and it's what's called a mini portfolio. So you can see that's Brian's tear sheet from the semester. Now, I've changed the last web assignment here to that's why you don't see the one that I started with, the web assets. This one was called the web buttons, but we've expanded it. But now that is a list of a visual tour of all the assignments for the semester. Now what I really want to do is to go back to the I want to show you the similarity. So I want to go back to my browser, and I want to go into my course right here. Let me refresh the screen so it doesn't kick me out. And I'm going to tell you, when you come up to your home page, how do you begin this? Well, where do you go when you first get into it? Now, I told you that I would tell you something, so I'm going to go back to the home page here, and I'm going to click on Canvas again. If you can't see your class in these courses right here, if you click courses and you don't see it, or if you go down here and you don't see the icon for your class right here, this is the same thing right there. This list right there is the same thing as these icons. Okay, I always just use a list. But if you don't see your class, there's a number here on the bottom that I'm highlighting right now. Okay, it's 877-362-2662. Now you don't have to write that down, because in your first day handout, which I'm bringing back here, which I'm going to go back to the home page on, let me go to page 3. Look at how I actually put that number Hopefully I put that number here. I must have put it in my other, it's got to be here somewhere. Okay, in my other classes I put it in this box and it's not in here, so I bet you I have it in here somewhere. I just don't want to take all the time to find it. No, I'm not going to. So that number again is 877. Just go to your, here, I'll show you again. Go to the home page, all right? Click on Canvas, which I just did again. And on the bottom, you have that number. So call it Monday morning, tell them who you are, which class you're in, and that you can't see your class in Canvas. And they'll get it right up and running for you. Okay? That's cool. So let me close that, and let me close this because I already have it opened here. So I clicked on my class and I went to my home page. The very first thing you have to do is understand that every weekly everything is in modules. So memorize that right now. If you click to modules, you get the general course information, which has the syllabus, it has the quick look schedule if you want it there, and it has a Zoom meeting link as the third one down. If I email you and tell you that I want to Zoom this week with everyone, and I'll give you several days notice, you go into this module, right into the top, you click on that, which brings you to this Zoom meeting link and information window, and there's the link you click on. So you would click on that link, then you would have to actually open the link, see where it says open link. All right, and when you do that, I'm not going to click it, but it's going to direct you into a waiting room where I will get a message and I can allow you in. Okay, so that's no big deal. That's real easy, and it's always going to be in where? It's going to be in modules, okay, which is where you first come up with here. Here, let me start over. This is your home page. Click on modules, and there is the Zoom link. Now let's go down to the very first thing that I want to show you. And I am going to show you in a few minutes this playing in Photoshop movie, okay, but I want to do something first. So I'm going to click on this Read Me First web page assets. Now I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to tell you right now that each one of these weeks is labeled. Each one of these weeks follows this exactly. So when I go down here and I get into where the assignments are, let me move this a little to the right, you can see web page assets right there, which is the first assignment, is web page assets right there. So now all you have to do is locate the pictures that I tell you. So here are the movies, the 3 movies I told you about, where this one is the only required movie. Okay, these 2 are extra credit. Now I tell you that in this first Read Me First PDF, which I'm going to click on right now. And when something like this comes up, just click on this right up here, this link right there to download it to your screen. And you can see right now it's come right over here, and I'm going to go hit the back button. So I go back to this module, this week 1 module, and I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to confirm with you that there are 3 tutorial movies. Let me zoom in. This is for the first week or 2. 3 tutorial movies, but movie 1 is the only required tutorial. What you see over here to this side is the only thing you have to turn in. Now for those of you who can get through it quickly, or you can wait till later, do movie 2 and 3, because I actually take you into Dreamweaver to create these 2 linkable, workable URL pages. Okay, let's go over to here and let's see that I tell you how to begin the file. Okay, but I go over this in the movie. All right, but and I'll show you where that is. So to begin this file, open Photoshop, go to File, New, and follow all the steps and settings as shown. So I want you to actually make sure when you go to the new document that you make sure you are right doing exactly what this says here, going to web, then going to 1200 by 600 pixels, uncheck artboard. See, it says right there, it says uncheck artboard. Make sure you uncheck that. Okay, I totally want that unchecked. Okay, so without going through this very much or a lot, then when you actually download, it'll tell you when you go into the first movie to download the Face Original and the Photography one. So I'm going to go to the Face Original and click it. Now I'm going to download that, and now that is what you start with. So you now have it on your desktop. You would right-hand click and open with Photoshop, right? Put it in your folder somewhere so you actually open it. And I now have it opened in Photoshop, which I'm not going to go through for a few minutes. I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to click back to this and then go hit the back button. I want you then to watch the first movie. Now, you don't have to watch it in Canvas. If you click this upper button here, it'll take you right to YouTube. And then you can cascade it to full screen.
To make sure that you have Snap on window. And I have two.
He talks too much. So I want to make it go all the way back to the beginning. And now I'm just going to play my voice for a few seconds.
Hi, welcome to your first assignment of the semester.
Okay, so now that I've done that, you can see right over here, let me get to this point right there. This is actually where you start the assignment. So let me just see what I say here.
Or next is go to View, and go to Rulers.
Okay, so I'm actually showing you a few things here, and I went a little bit too far.
You're going to change it from a normal resolution of 72. Which
now I want to tell you, and that was at the 13-minute mark. I tell you that. But anyway, look over here in the movies. If your movie isn't showing crystal clear on your screen, go to Settings. Okay. Now in Settings, you should be able to go here and choose the highest quality setting for the movie, which, by the way, should allow you to actually read everything.
Some clear stuff going on, but I would normally leave it on.
So I'm going to leave it like this.
But we're going to choose let everything else be. Let the white be.
And I'm going to minimize this by escaping. Okay, I hit the escape button, and now you can watch them here in YouTube on my YouTube channel. All right, or you can watch them in Canvas. Which now, when you're done this movie here. That's when you can actually submit the file. So your PSD file, once you're done working and creating your PSD file, you would then go and notice that each one of these modules on the very upper part has a Dropbox. And that's where you submit the assignment. So when you click the Dropbox, you get to have, and this is my version of the Dropbox because I'm the editor, right? You have an upload button right there. So you can upload your assignment, and then this probably is the submit button for you. Okay? And then I will go into the grade book. I will get an email saying, hey, this student submitted their file, and you can now go to grades. Now, I'm going to click grades, and I'm just going to move this over so we can't see any names right now. But let me just show you that all the assignments are in this grade book that are listed. And every one of these will populate as you build through the semester. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here, and I'm putting it over there so I can go get out of that window and go back to here. Thank you. So I have to shrink that window. Sorry. Let me just grab it and shrink it just a little bit over here. Okay, and I'm putting it back on this screen, so now I can continue and go through what I need to go through with you. So let's go back to the module so I can see the whole module. All right, so when you want to submit the assignment, please click the Dropbox for any week. Here's week 1 and 2. Here's the Dropbox. As soon as you click the Dropbox, go down to the bottom and answer the 5 questions. Then in the next week, go to the Dropbox Once you are done the file, where do you get the stuff for it? Well, just like these were the assets right here for the web page layout, right here it even says asset. So it'll load in to your desktop all the things you need to do the assignment. You then watch the tutorial movie, which I have right there for assignment 2. Now I'm going to go backwards. When you're finished, go to the Dropbox and submit it, and then what do? You go right to the discussion and finish it. Okay, and tell me the 5 things that I want to know. Same thing for every single assignment. Everyone has a Dropbox. Usually there's an asset folder, and if not, I'll just say in the first movie, it'll tell you to go get whatever from this module, okay? And here is actually an asset, Sorial completed character files zip, so that's where you get all your stuff from, okay? So, but you don't have to use mine. You don't have to do, for the character, you remember I did Will Smith, you can do anybody. And I'll show you that by other students in a little portfolio from them. So here's all the assignments for the semester all the way down to week 16. Notice I say in big bold letters that week 14 and 15 is the cartoon character, but it's actually extra credit. Now over in the first day handout, I kind of, if I can remember where I put it, I actually tell you, whoops, that's not it. It's right there. I actually tell you in this here, let me go down. Week 14, if you don't want to do this extra credit assignment, you may choose to work on previous assignments so that you can catch up if you fall a little bit far behind, or even if you want to do an assignment over again. And that's another thing. I want to go down to week 1. I don't know why I'm going there, but I'm just going to tell you this. If you turn in an assignment for week 1 and you didn't like what the grade you got, just fix it and resubmit it to me in the same Dropbox. Did you hear that? In the same Dropbox, resubmit it. It'll tell me there is a resubmission. I'll regrade it. Now, here's an important thing that I want you to see. Before I forget, I'm going to go tell you. I'm going to click the inbox and I'm going to pretend that I'm you. Okay, so I'm clicking it. And I'm going to say, and I'm going to compose a new, look at the button, a new email. I'm going to choose your course, which is right there, all right? And I'm going to say to by clicking that little symbol, and teachers. So send Brian an email, say something like having trouble with assignment 2. And then what I want you to do is to tell me what your problem is. So type a few words and definitely click the paperclip. Tell me what your problem is and then attach your PSD file. Now what I will do is I'll create a very quick movie and I'll email you back within a day so that you can get right back to work, and I'll show you through a quick movie how to fix your file. And then you can get back to work, finish your file, or if you come up with another problem, re-email me. Okay? So use the Canvas email, which has no memory limit. All right? You know how sometimes emails have a 25 megabyte limit? Canvas doesn't. So it doesn't matter if your file is 5 megabytes or 100 megabytes. It'll still email to me. Okay? That is very important. Now, when I do a movie and I send it back to you, it'll either be through a YouTube link because it was a large movie if it takes me too long, or I can embed a movie right in my email and get you back to work. Now, that's super important, and that's the value of having an online class. And to me, that's the value of these tutorials, because you can stop and start the tutorial. I just canceled that, and I made sure I just canceled that. So now let me close this YouTube thing, and I want to show you, and I probably will come back to this, okay? This meaning this browser and your class. So I'm going to go back into your class just to have it on the screen. Look at how I can click it right there, and I'm going to put it on my other screen, but I want to show you something. and I've prepared a couple of things, and it's going to take me just a few minutes to show you. Okay, so I'm going to close that tab. I've created a Photoshop file with 4 of your assignments this semester. Okay, and I wanted to show you something about Photoshop and the difference between Photoshop and programs like Illustrator and InDesign. And I want you to see that although it looks the same, meaning let me turn these off. Look at these layers I'm turning off. Can you see them? I have the layer palette opened, okay? And I have the tool palette open. And this upper bar here that is important right there that I just took away, always make sure that your options is showing. And please don't click the application frame. You can if you want, go ahead and click it, but I'm going to click it and I'm going to tell you that that's a very inconvenient thing right there. All right, and you'll know as the semester rolls on why. Okay, but I'm going to unclick it, and then I'm going to expand my page just like this. And then I'm going to tell you, not exactly right this second, because I go through this with you and I show you how to expand the screen, how to zoom in and how to zoom out of the screen. I show you that in the very first movie. All right, I want to show you what Photoshop is all about. Okay, so I want to minimize the screen. I'm just zooming in and out here. For you guys who want to know, it's Alt or Option and middle mouse button. Alt is on a PC, Option's on a Mac. And you can zoom your middle mouse button like I'm doing. But I'm going to turn on these layers, which I brought in here. Okay? And I want to show you that if I go get the Move tool right there, that I can't exactly click on these things. They aren't clickable items. Nothing in Photoshop is really a clickable item except for drawing paths. Okay, when you actually draw a path, you can actually pick up a point of that path. So if I hit the P key, just to show you for a second, P stands for pen, and I click a pen point, pen point, pen point, and pen point. Let me zoom into that so you can see it. I'm going to move this over. Now, watch how I can actually hold the Command or Control key, click on that one point right there. I just clicked on it, and now I can move that one point. This is a vector, I can't think of the word. This is a vector aspect to Photoshop. When you draw in paths, you're actually placing points on this screen, on this canvas. But I'm going to hit the Delete key once and twice, and now the path is gone. You saw it disappear right there from the path palette. Now I don't want to go through a whole bunch here. All I want to show you is this. So I'm going to come back to the screen in a second. But I've created something in Adobe Illustrator right here that shows you what I just showed you now. I'm putting this on the other screen. I'm putting that on the other screen. This is a typical version right there of what a page looks like. I even say typical application screen for programs like Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. Now, these are actual things I can click on because I'm in right now Adobe Illustrator. Let me put all this on my other screen. So I can actually click these things and move them around. And I'll Control or Command Z back. But I want you to know that in programs like Illustrator and InDesign, this is called a pasteboard area. So let's go down here and examine what I'm trying to tell you. So I turned the screen as if you're looking at it from, I tilted it back. Okay, so I'm going to zoom into here. And I want to click on this one picture. So I'm going to hit a certain key that's going to let me go in and click on that one picture. Now, in Illustrator or InDesign, look at how you can put stuff out here. So if you want it later, you can just put it back, right? So you can actually click on items. I'll zoom into that. So you can see how I can click on that item. I can actually hit the transform tool, which is the E key in Illustrator, and I can make it bigger, or I can switch it like this. I'm going to Control Z or Command Z back. You can see how I can grab this and I can scale it to any size I want, which makes it kind of weird. But my point is the pasteboard, let me Command Z back several times, or Control Z back. The pasteboard is something that actually accepts different things. So I'm going to go get this one and put it over here. I'm going to go get this one and put it over here. I'm going to get that one and put it over here. Now, I told you here that Illustrator, right there, is based on vector graphics, composed of points and paths. Well, I just wasn't working on a point and a path. You can see how I was just playing with a picture. But over here, I actually have things like this, where I'm going to show you the X ruler in Illustrator. Let me move this picture over so I can get it out of the way and move over. So there's an X ruler and a Y ruler. X is for the horizontal ruler, Y is for the vertical ruler. Now you can see right there as I move in, I placed a point on this page right there. Okay, I have to unlock that. So if I take this one dot right there, let me zoom in and get that dot. I can actually pick up this dot and I can move it around the screen, right? You can see how I can move that around the screen. Well, I'm Command or Control Zing back because I want you to see how this dot is actually at the 3x and 2y mark. Now that's based on math. It's based on coordinate points. So Illustrator is something, and InDesign is something that uses the same pen to draw things with. You see how I'm drawing this, okay? And I'm going to click and flip this so it's an object. Now here's a very, very interesting thing, okay? And I want you to see something cool. Let me zoom into that but not get it too much bigger. Sorry. That didn't seem to be working. Okay, that's not working. That's okay. I've noticed that certain things in this new CC 2021 Adobe Creative Cloud applications, there are several errors that I hope they fix soon. But let's not go there. I'm going to hit a certain key, which is for the selection tool. Okay, I hit the V key for that. And I'm going to click on this object right there, this little triangle, and I'm going to move it. Okay, so I'm going to click on it like this, and I'm going to pick it up and move it. So you can see that I actually have to touch the object to move it. I actually have to click on a picture and move it. So I can actually grab that picture and move it over here, right? So part of it is on the artboard and part of it is on the pasteboard. My point to you is, I'm in a vector program and I have to actually click on the object if I want to move it. So I'll Command or Control Z back several times. So I'll put everything back in order. You can see how many times you can Command or Control Z. Let's put everything back in order here. Okay. Now let me go down to Photoshop. Look what Photoshop does. Photoshop is not a pasteboard. So if I take my move tool, and you're going to see when I actually go back into Photoshop, I can't actually click on that item right there. I have to unlock something. Okay, right there. So I'm going to take a certain thing and I'm going to click on it. Now, I did tell you that Photoshop is different than Illustrator and InDesign, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute when I go into Photoshop. But I want to show you something. In Photoshop, when you put something over here outside the live area, you can't see it. Doesn't mean it's gone. It means you just can't see it. It's underneath there. It's invisible. Okay, so look at how I can put all of these pictures over here. Now, if I want to go grab those pictures, you can see here that I can grab this picture and I can start to put it back on the screen. That means that Photoshop is based on things like what's inside a picture frame. So you know how a picture frame has a mat? Consider that this big outer area here is the mat. And when you're picking up something inside the live area of Photoshop, sure, you can see it anywhere. But if you go put it out here, you can't. So it looks like there's nothing in your file, when in actuality, look at how you have actually 4 things in your file. And I'll pick them all up and put them back on there. See what I'm talking about? Photoshop is based on raster, which is a set of pixels per inch. Now that's basically what it is. So I'm going to just minimize this for a second and go back into the real Photoshop. I want you to notice that I have 5 layers. The background layer is white, but I can turn it off and it becomes a checkerboard. Now, this is going to be very interesting because I want you to start to understand right from the beginning, these are not objects. In fact, I can't take the move tool and click on it like this. Let me click away. I can't click on that object and move anything. See how it says, hey, what are you trying to do here? I can't grab anything. So what do you have to make sure? There's a rule in Photoshop I want you all to memorize from even day one. When you want to touch something or work on something, you have to click to the layer first. Now Photoshop is telling me, oh, you want to work on this layer right there. Now here's another interesting thing. I'm going to zoom in so you can see something. I don't want to be too far away. And I'm going to hit a certain button that I tell you about in the first movie, and I'm going to cascade this to full screen so I can move this around the screen. Okay? And you don't have to know what I just did. You will when you watch the first movie of the web page assignment. Okay. I want you to see something very weird that is going to mess with your head for a second. Do you see how I'm actually clicked on this picture? Well, this picture is not something that is an object, as I've said. Look at how I can put my move tool way over here and move the picture. Because I'm not moving a picture, and get used to what I'm going to say here, I'm moving the whole canvas. Do you understand? So this isn't just a picture of a man in the upper right-hand corner of this canvas. This is a whole canvas that I'm moving. It just so happens that the canvas has pixels in the upper right corner. Do you understand? Now, watch how in the Move tool I can actually go over this object right there. I can, and I show you this in the first Web Assets tutorial, I can right-hand click in the Move tool and it'll take me right to that layer. Now look over at the layer palette on the right. Look at how it jumped to this one, to this layer. Now again, you're going to always want to move your selection tool so that you can actually touch the object, but you're not. It's not an object. Look at how I can go down here and move it. Look at how I can go way over here and move it. Look at how I can actually move it by putting my selection tool, my move tool off the screen. Do you see what I'm saying? What am I moving? Am I moving this picture? No, I'm moving the canvas that it belongs to. Okay, now watch how you can do something else. So the same applies to the other ones, and I'll Control Z back. Watch how I can go to image and canvas size. See, this is where it actually lets us change the size. So if I went to something ridiculous like 4 wide by 4 high, look at how it'll tell me that I'm going to actually proceed, and look at how it cut off all the other items. But did it cut it off completely? Well, let's see. Let's click the Move tool, which I'm in. Let's click this one right there, and let's see if any more of this exists. Oh, look, it still is under there. Wow, so Brian, what did you do when you actually went to image and canvas size? All I did was change the size of the mat. So you know how you can have a bunch of pictures on a table, and if you throw a little tiny mat over them, you're only going to see a little bit of the picture? Well, the rest of the picture's underneath the mat, right? That's Photoshop. So let's go back. Actually, I'm just going to Command Z back or Control Z back, or I can go to 8.5 tabbing to 11, and I have it back. Okay, now again, I'm going to tell you, watch how I can notice how I want to take this graffiti one and move it. Now I'm not going to follow my own rule. What is the rule? Make sure you're clicked on the right layer first. So I'm going to assume that I'm just going to move this picture because, hey, I can touch it. But look, I'm actually over the graffiti one, but the other one is moving. Why, Brian? Because you're selected on the other canvas that says Jeep Art. Okay, Jeep Surreal Art. So if I want to move this graffiti, I either have to click to it, or watch this, in the Move tool, right click, and it'll take me right there. It'll jump to the layer, and now I can move that one around. So that is a very important aspect of Photoshop. In Photoshop, you can hit the Tab key. I show you this in the first movie to get more room on your screen, and tab it on. So it's tab it on, tab it off, tab it on, tab it off. Now I'll leave it on, and I'll show you that if I hit and hold the Shift key and tap the Tab button, do you see how it leaves the tool palette? Gets rid of all the other stuff, but it leaves this tool palette and the options palette, which is very important because the tool palette is very important. Okay, so I wanted you to see that. Immediately after this movie, and once the semester starts, okay, I'm going to close this and not save it. And I'm going to go back into my original folder if I kept it over here. Yes. So let me bring it over here. And I want to go to the thing that's called Playing in Photoshop. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go open this file right here. And where is the file, Mr. Surreal? It should have been in there. I'm going to pause the screen for a second. Okay, so hopefully I was paused there. If I wasn't, because something happened funny to the window, normally a certain key, Command-Shift-P, pauses, but if I didn't, that's okay. So this is Playing in Photoshop, and this is a file that I created here, and I'm going to hit the Tab key to bring up certain things. Okay, so this one takes you just a little bit more deep into Photoshop, and I explain it in the actual module. So I want to go there first before I do anything. So I'm going to click on Modules, and right after you go into the class for the generic first week, I want you to watch this movie. So let me just play it for a second.
Understanding some of the fundamentals with Photoshop. And what I have on the screen here, I'm going to explain.
So I want you to go through that, and I want you to listen to what I'm saying, because there are several things inside there that I want you to understand. But basically, when I click on this and I hit the F button to cascade it to full screen, I can show you that I have a green circle, a squiggly, right? A red square, and if I put the red square higher in here, you can see how it covers everything up, or put it back down where it was, and a big yellow background. Now these are 4 canvases that I filled with things. Okay, I don't want to tell you how I did it, because you'll just understand that right from the day one. But actually watch this. I am going to use the pixels of the red square to clip the blue streak and the green circle. Just want to show you a little bit of something here. So if I hold Alt or Option between these 2 layers, this layer and this layer, if I hold Alt or Option, I can create a clipping group and another clipping group, which means that these 2 layers are using the edge of these pixels right here to crop them. Isn't that cool? So now can you see how I can click on this green circle, go to the Move tool, and I can actually move that around inside. I can even take it and move it below the blue streak. So the stacking order in Photoshop works just like the stacking order in Illustrator or InDesign or After Effects. Whatever's on top is whatever you see first. Okay? So I want you to watch the playing movie. All right? Now what I want to do here is close this. Don't save it, Brian. And we are going to go to, if I can find it quickly, we are going to go to, I think I put it in here. Oh, I was already in there. Just a second. Student lesson files, student examples. So I want you to see some of the things that students have done this semester. So here's an example of students going through some of the assignments. So I'm just going to click the forward button and I'm going to continue to talk. So you can see that they took their Jeeps. These are beginning students too. And they created their own ads using, this was assignment number 3. So you can see I have a lot of good creativity. Here's the caricature assignment. So this student chose to take, that's Mr. Bean, right? And to show the original and what they did in the caricature assignment. So you can see these are examples of what students have done in the class. You're going to be just among them. I don't know why, but I don't want to see that face. Anyway, you can see what they've done here. You can see all the way through. There's one of the apples that a student did, and they had some fun with it and actually took a bite out of it. Here's another apple painted by a student. These are all beginner students. Okay, but as the semester rolls on, you're going to find that the techniques and the abilities that you create or get in this class allow for a lot of different creativity and raise your skill level very fast. Here's an example of the phones that were painted. They didn't choose to do my phone. They chose to do another phone, but look at how beautiful these are. You will have just the same kind of content. I just wanted you to see a few of what the other students have done. Now, if I have forgotten anything in this movie, which I don't think so, I just wanted you to know a very important thing about me. So I don't know why, but I'm going to go back into the class. So let me put this back on and go to your class. Again, I'm in the My Macomb page. I'm clicking on Canvas. I'm going to the class here and I'm clicking on it. And remember that I told you modules is the most important thing. So immediately click on modules and begin your assignment. So I look forward, begin your semester with the first assignment, which is right there. But please watch the playing in Photoshop here. So I hope you enjoyed this. I totally look forward to communicating with all of you, to working with all of you. And I want you to know this too. Sometimes after the semester ends, I keep working with students on portfolio content. And they build some pretty incredible things, which I will show as the semester progresses. So again, welcome to the class. And please watch the movies that are in this email that I'm sending you with this link. Watch the Brian Sorial portfolio movie. If you already haven't, you probably should have watched that first. And I look forward to working with you. And if you have any issues on Monday, any issues, and you haven't gotten any help from Canvas, I don't know what I can do, but you can still click this button. It's kind of important I show you this. So you can still click this to get you to the dashboard. So when you go down here, let me close this. When you go here and click on Canvas, if you can't get going, then go to the inbox, click on the Compose, select your course, as I just showed you a little bit ago, click the To button, click the Teachers, like I just did, click Brian, type in having issues with whatever, and then type your email and send it to me, okay? And I'll monitor all day Monday on what you guys are doing. So again, welcome, and we'll talk later.